Good afternoon. So, like I said earlier, um, I'm not looking to air any dirty laundry here or anything. But I do feel at this point, especially, it's necessary to get some things clear, to face some fears, as I've been learning how to do on a daily basis, and especially the past couple days, I've really found the strength to dig deep and simply be able to finally open up again, to open up and speak from the heart. So that's all I want to do today for a couple minutes. Is just speak from the heart, because ultimately that's how I've built the shop, was from a place of love, and the way that I've learned to handle pretty much everything in life now is through a place of love and grace and understanding. And even making this video, I filmed it. Filmed it 3 other times, and then I took a moment and paused, and I said, you know what, I really just want to speak from the heart today. So the truth is I've been up and down the past little while, because I've been battling some of the toughest things life had thrown at me at that time, and that included a long battle with anxiety and depression. Now let me tell you that there's different types, and the anxieties that I was experiencing were circumstantial. At least a majority of them were. I was anxious for what was ahead, and a lot of that came also through the decisions that I was making in business and people, and the way that I thought about myself, the way that I talked to myself, and the way I took care of myself, and who I knew who I was. And I'd forgotten that at a time. So I want to take a couple minutes and just open up to you guys with where I have come from, I guess. Because the man I am now, especially, is certainly not the man that I used to be. And I believe heavily in that statement, because I've watched, and so many people have watched, God do some amazing things through me. And as a friend of mine, Andrew, said, God's much more concerned with the work He's gonna do in you first. He's got to work here and here first before He really calls you back out to work through you. So, but a year and a half ago, I was in the toughest spot of my life. I was having panic attacks 2 or 3 times a day, and just in a terrible headspace. And from a personal standpoint, which is most of what I want to speak on today, came from a lot of the decisions that I was making out of fear. A lot of the decisions that I was making in business, or even at work at the time when I was working at Humble, were being made out of fear, as opposed to legitimate and rational thought. Which now I look back and I look back and I know how thankful I am for that place, because I really honed in on a lot of things while I was there. And even though I wasn't living all of it out yet, I had certainly learned a lot in the process. It was just going to take some time to. This is Teddy, by the way, my family's new dog. He's a golden doodle. He's adorable. So yeah, I look back on those years and I just say, wow, I'm super thankful. I'm super grateful. It didn't look perfect, and it wasn't perfect, and there was those heads that got butt along the way, and there was things that get said. But I mean, that doesn't mean you can't look back and take the lessons out of it, and allow it to grow you into a better person. So especially at this time, man, like every shop that we have around here, especially in Charlottetown, um, just needs a lot of love. And I see Roberto's coming into town now too, uptown. It's awesome because like I've been following his work for a while, and it's he's incredible, and his crew's awesome. And I get to catch up with Jared Doyle again there a couple weeks ago, and I plan on to again in the future because Jared and I are good friends, and he's the kind of guy that I get to bounce a lot of stuff off and just talk a lot of real life. So with that being said, I suppose it's no harm in opening up about some of the failures that I've come to face along the way, only because I've learned how to now face them with confidence and say, okay, I've got the solution. So a friend of mine also said, Kevin actually said this from Educated Beards, that your first business you're gonna start, and then it's gonna completely tumble, and you're gonna start fresh. And I was like, oh no, I'm gonna get it right the first time. And cocky little crap I used to be. The spunk I had, but no, seriously, how true that was. And from my side, I would openly just say that a lot of it was just due to my lack of wisdom at that time, and understanding and discernment, and whatever else it was, led me to make some poor decisions, right? So don't think for a second that I haven't forgotten about all the people who have spoken into my life along the way and supported us, especially in the beginning. It just made me that much more determined to, when it came to now, right? Especially these past few months when my life really just shattered. It just blew away for a while. And when that happens, you got to make a decision. You got to say, okay, am I going to succumb to that circumstance, or am I going to rise up against it and say, okay, well, I'm still in charge of myself. I'm still in charge of myself, and now that everything else is just kind of for a little while, I got to get to work. I got to get to work. And I knew that. Deep down, I knew that. And that was the drive. That was the determination to get back to why I loved what I was doing. You see, when I was really struggling through my darkest seasons of depression and anxiety and bipolar and even PTSD, which I'm not saying for me was severe in any case, quite mild, okay? But all that simply means is that there were traumatic events in my past that would just legitimately get brought up in current events in my life, and cause me to experience a lot of those negative emotions and fear that shouldn't exist at that point in life, but do because I didn't heal from some of the things that I'd experienced in the past. That doesn't mean that I haven't taken the time to do all that as well, okay? So to keep it short, 4 months ago, when everything really crashed, after some of the darkest seasons of my life, in of which I was spending, at one point I was on the overpass, and I was never gonna jump off, but to be there and to be contemplating those thoughts for a while was enough to really, really scare me and say, whoa, okay, I gotta go take care of myself. And I wasn't, and I didn't know how at the time, okay? But I believed that my life wasn't worth living anymore. And I'd allowed a lot of the people that were around me amidst those circumstances to keep me there. I'm not saying it's anyone's fault, okay? It's not. I'm just, like I said, I'm just voicing some explanation, I guess. And there were a lot of people who, there were a couple of people that I even opened up to about it, and I remember at church a few days before I had a breakdown. I just couldn't hold it in anymore. I just broke in the lobby, and there was a couple of people that I remember were there, and they just really saw the brokenness and understood it, and now they're the people who are still choosing sides and can't look past one area of somebody's life to see all the other areas potentially that there could be growth in. And you know what, like, I'm not in the business of worrying about what other people think at this point, because through all this I've just learned it's just brought me directly back to what God wants me to do. And I say that because we're running a business called Kingdom Made, right? Which obviously means that if I'm running a business that is representing God, that is representing the gospel, I had to learn how to live it out, and I had to learn how to apply all of it to my life and allow it to work in all areas, which included being responsible and accountable for my actions, no matter what other people thought or didn't think, or the excuses that I could have made. I used to be really good at making excuses, wonderful at it, okay? Yeah, that's just the man that's just the guy I used to be. But people change, we change. I'm just now, I guess, in a season of gratitude, because being able to take in all those shortcomings and faults and failures and mistakes and say, okay, my time's not up. So at any point I can say, okay, I'm gonna start working on me again. And I used the opportunity this time, where I was in a season of grieving and darkness and confusion and wandering, to also figure a lot of that stuff out. Because I knew that it was, you don't go through such a trial, okay? You don't go through such an event in life, or in my case, multiple, in a very short period of time, without learning from it. I didn't know how amazing it was going to be on the other side, to take in all the good that's around me. And that's kind of what it does, is once the noise is cleared for long enough, once your life, the path is cleared enough, then it's so much easier to see all the people that do believe in you, that do believe in what you're capable of, that do love you deeply and care for you, and most importantly, like, actually know you well, right? Like, I'm a complex individual. I got a lot of sides, and I've just learned how to love all of them again, and then also look back and say, ooh, yeah, got some stuff I got to clean up, okay? That's being human. But that doesn't mean that I haven't sought after a better way to handle everything in my life. And the bigger the mistakes were, the bigger the lessons I had to learn, okay? And I wouldn't change it for anything at this point. Because I truly don't know what tomorrow holds. Heck, I don't even know what today holds. But I don't fear it anymore. And I realized that when you go underground for a little while, if you go underground to really figure some things out, because time time alone doesn't heal, but you can use time very effectively to heal. Okay? So that's what I did, because there were enough people who just knew the realities of what I was experiencing and going through to just be like, whoa, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But it was tough to actually, like, I didn't want to open up to a lot of people about it at that time, and it was hard because I used to use sympathy as such an advantage, right? Where because I was good at it. So this time I almost felt guilty of even expecting sympathy from anybody, right? But that didn't mean that I still couldn't give it to myself and extend myself grace as I was in the process, you know. So, yeah, that's where I'm at, okay. And you know what? I'm in a good place, and I really do look forward to what we have to come, especially with Kingdom Made and the huge team of people that we have there, and all the people who supported us in the beginning. Like I said, I haven't forgotten a single one of you guys. I just had to figure out how to say thank you, and what that meant was I had to figure some things out in my own life too. Okay, but that doesn't mean I've given up. That doesn't mean that I'm not determined, and that doesn't mean that I haven't spent, the past couple of weeks using a majority of my free time to come up with our plans for this year, and connecting with the right people, and getting ready to make some serious moves. So now I'm excited because I know that I put in the work, and I know that I put in the work in myself, and I know that there's a lot of guys around us who are eager and willing to help. I just had to get focused up in all areas to really move forward with a clear conscience. And I feel like making this video and addressing a lot of people at once was a good way to start, because at least now I certainly feel like I can a little more openly keep sharing what we're working on, because I want to also keep sharing what God's been doing in my life and in the lives of the people around us. So I was thinking about maybe filming another video like that later, more personal, and a little more about my testimony and that kind of stuff when Bo goes to sleep. But we're still taking it a day at a time. So if you're still watching, I know it's 18 minutes long, and I got a little emotional there the first couple times I was making the video. So anyway, I love you guys all so much, and I have a lot of people to keep on my list. That's for sure. I got a big list, and we're gonna do some really cool things together. So onward and upward, right? Okay. We'll see you guys soon.